Red emergency lights threw flickering shadows across the great hall of the Vex Council station. Ambassador Kale stood at the center of the circular chamber, his tall, blue-skinned frame trembling slightly as he delivered what might be the worst news in galactic history. "The Kepler system is gone," he announced, his voice echoing through the hushed chamber. 3 billion Vex colonists, consumed by the swarm in under 6 hours. Wararkeef Grok of the Brutons slammed his massive fist on his chair's armrest, the sound cracking like thunder. "How many fleets have we lost now?" he growled, red eyes burning with fury. "1 full battle group," replied Traitor Nix, his small green fingers dancing over a holographic calculator. "The cost is astronomical. At this rate, we'll be bankrupt long before we're extinct." Kale nodded grimly. For over 1,000 years, the Vex, the Brutons, and the Traitors had ruled the galaxy, through technology, might, and wealth, respectively. But now, all of that seemed useless. The swarm had arrived 6 months ago, emerging from the galactic rim. At first, they were thought to be just another machine race, common enough, but this was different. The swarm learned. Every battle made it stronger. Every weapon used against it became useless the next time. Every tactic tried once was immediately countered. "Show them the battle records from Proxima," Kale ordered. The central projector came alive, displaying the last stand of Fleet Commander Voss. To human observers, it would have looked like a dance of lights, beautiful and terrifying. Ships fired beams of energy that should have torn through hulls, only to watch them curve away harmlessly. Missiles exploded prematurely, as if they'd been convinced they'd already hit. "The swarm doesn't just counter our weapons," Kale said. "It makes them impossible to use. It bends space, manipulates perception, even fools our guidance systems." "Then we use bigger weapons," Grok growled. "Planet crackers. Star killers." "We tried," Nick said softly. "The swarm absorbed a star killer, shot, and used the energy to build more ships. Our most powerful weapon became its fuel." Silence followed, heavy with despair. 3 civilizations, once masters of the galaxy, were helpless before an enemy that evolved faster than they could think. "There is one possibility," Kale said at last. "So desperate, I hesitate to even suggest it." "Speak," Grok commanded. "The humans." The reaction was instant. Nix's head tentacles curled in disgust. "Those primitives? They barely have faster-than-light travel. 1 swarm drone would shred their best ship." "Exactly," Kale replied, "because humans are illogical." That gave even Grok pause. "Explain." Kale activated another hologram, this one showing centuries of human military history. "We've studied them since first contact. Look, their war records, their space programs. Their methods make no sense. They charge at superior forces. They use weapons in ways they weren't designed for. They make plans that should fail, yet they win." The images told the story. Humans in hopeless battles, strapped to controlled explosions, declaring victory where logic predicted failure. "They're unpredictable," Kale continued, "and unpredictability might be the one thing the swarm cannot adapt to." "You want to give our most advanced tech to a species that still uses chemical explosives?" Nix protested. "Not our most advanced," Kale said quietly. "Our most dangerous." The hall fell silent. Everyone knew what he meant. The Void Render. Locked in the most secure dock of the station, the ship was a failed experiment in reality-warping technology. The first test pilot had gone insane in 3 minutes. The second had aged forward and backward at once, creating a temporal paradox. The third simply vanished, and even the memory of them began to fade. "The ship needs a mind we don't have," Kale said. "It requires someone willing to embrace chaos, to make decisions that defy logic. Our simulations say it's impossible." "And you think humans can fly it?" Grok asked. "I think humans are the only ones crazy enough to try." The debate that followed raged for hours. The Brutons saw it as a final stand. The traders weighed extinction against cost. The Vex ran simulations, everyone ending in disaster. But then again, so did every simulation against the swarm. The vote passed, barely. 3 days later, Captain Alex Stone sat in his cargo hauler at Luna Station, staring at the most unbelievable message he'd ever received. The aliens wanted to give humanity their most powerful ship. In exchange, they wanted humans to fight an unwinnable war. Stone laughed aloud. "Maya!" he called. Engineer Maya Reeves floated in from the engine compartment, red hair tied back, hands greasy. "What's so funny?" Stone showed her the message. She read it twice. "They're serious?" "Dead serious. They want us to fly a ship even they're afraid of." Her grin widened. "They picked us because we're too dumb to know it's impossible." Stone nodded. They didn't speak of the obvious. This was a suicide mission. A death sentence in a form physics hadn't even invented yet. But then again, as the aliens had realized, humans weren't rational. Stone sent his reply, "Mission accepted." "You don't fly it," Tyne said. "You ask it nicely to go where you want and hope it agrees." "Come again?" Then's translator gave a sound suspiciously like a sigh. "The ship doesn't respond to commands in the traditional sense. Not logic, not protocols. It responds to intention, what you might call instinct. Our pilots tried using calculations, routines, careful plans," Tyne continued. "It rejected every attempt." Maya was already halfway under a control panel, her engineer's curiosity overriding her caution. "These power conduits are completely unstable," she called. "The energy flow changes every few seconds. How does anything work?" "It shouldn't," Tyne admitted. "But it does. We think the ship likes being unstable. Every time we tried to stabilize the power, the ship fought us." "So it's got a personality?" Emma asked. "More than one," Tyne said. "And they don't always agree." Stone sat in the pilot's chair. Instantly, the floating crystal spheres began to spin, and light shimmered across the control surfaces. He felt something, not a voice, but a presence, in his mind. "It's curious," he said slowly, "like it's trying to figure out what I am." "It's never encountered a human mind," Tyne explained. "Vex thinking is logical. Bruton minds are about warfare and honor. Traders think in profit margins. But humans are completely insane," David finished. "We prefer the term creative," Stone replied, hands gliding across the controls without knowing why. The ship's engines responded with a low, vibrant hum. "Captain," Maya called from under the panel, "I think I know why your safety systems never worked. This ship doesn't want to be safe. It wants to be alive." Over the next 3 days, the human crew learned to work with the void render in ways that made the Vex engineers hide in their quarters. Maya stopped trying to regulate the power systems. Instead, she learned to ride the chaos, like a surfer on a wave. She disabled safety protocols the Vex deemed essential. The ship grew more stable. "You're disabling the containment stabilizers?" Tyne said, horrified. "The black hole will expand and consume us." "No, it won't," Maya replied, confidently. "The ship likes a little danger. It keeps things interesting." She was right. With the stabilizers off, the black hole's containment field strengthened. The ship thrived on the edge of catastrophe. David tackled the weapon systems, like learning a language that rewrote its grammar every few minutes. The probability. Cannons only made enemy fire miss if David believed they would. Quantum torpedoes existed in multiple places, but only if he didn't think too hard about where. "It's like the ship reads my intentions," he told Stone. "If I plan too carefully, the weapons don't work. But if I feel it, just know, it all clicks." Emma found the communication systems could translate any language if she treated them like people. She spent hours chatting with the ship's computer. "Ship, Scan for enemies. I could, the ship replied. But wouldn't you rather be surprised? Ship, this is serious. So is the heat death of the universe, but I don't see you losing sleep over that. But Stone made the real breakthrough. On the third day, frustrated with navigation, he just asked the ship where it wanted to go. The answer came, not through speakers, but directly into his. I'm anywhere but here. Why? Because here is boring, no chaos, no impossible problems, no fun. Stone grinned. What if I told you we're going to fight an enemy no one's ever beaten? The engines roared to life. Every light on the bridge flickered like excitement. Now you're talking, the ship said. The first test flight nearly ended in disaster, by Vex standards anyway. Stone activated the quantum fracture drive without knowing how it worked. The void render split into 3 simultaneous locations. The Vex observers panicked. They screamed about paradoxes and collapsing realities. Stone just laughed. Hey, ship, pick the one you like best. It chose the one closest to a nebula. The colors are prettier, it said. You're treating impossible technology like a pet, Thane accused, his translator struggling with the tone. Maybe that's what it needed, Maya said. You built something meant to break reality and then tried to make it follow rules. What if breaking the rules is the point? On the second test flight, they encountered a Vex patrol running drills. Ship, Stone asked. Want to play? Before anyone objected, they dove into mock combat. The patrol's practice rounds should have been unavoidable, but the void render convinced space-time they'd been fired in a slightly different direction. When the patrol tried to lock on, the ship flickered between dimensions. No solid targeting solution. The mock battle lasted 10 minutes. The patrol was left baffled, unsure what they'd even fought. The ship practically purred with satisfaction. It's like it's waited its whole life for someone to just let it be, Emma observed. And what is it meant to be? David asked. Stone smiled, feeling the ship's joy through the neural link. Something beautiful, terrible, and completely impossible. That night, as the crew slept, the void render hummed quietly to itself. For the first time, it wasn't pretending to be a ship. It wasn't suppressing its nature. It was finally free, a being of controlled chaos, ready to dance with the impossible. Tomorrow they would face the swarm. But tonight, ship and crew dreamed together of battles where there were no rules, and victory belonged to those who broke reality most beautifully. The swarm fleet appeared on sensors like a disease spreading across space. Captain Stone studied the tactical display as thousands of enemy ships emerged from hyperspace at the Kepler system's edge. Each vessel was a perfect geometric shape. Triangles, squares, hexagons, moving with mechanical precision. The formations looked like equations, written in metal and light. How many? Stone asked. 3,416, David reported. Multiple classes, but they're moving like one organism. Maya looked up from engineering. Captain, the ship's excited. I can feel it through the power systems. It's been waiting for this. Emma monitored communications from the fleeing Vex colony ships. The colonists made it out, barely. The swarm crushed their defenses in under an hour. Stone nodded and sank into the pilot's chair. The crystal spheres whirled faster, answering his rising heartbeat. Well, ship, he said aloud, let's show them what chaos really looks like. The void render's engines thrummed like a war drum. All hands, this is the captain, Stone said over comms. We're about to face an enemy that's never been beaten. They learn from every battle, adapt to every weapon, counter every strategy. But they've never fought us. The swarm detected them instantly. Stone watched the formation shift. In real time, recalculating. Their ships adapted based on energy readings, hull composition, weapon loadouts, drawing from 1 billion encounters in their databanks, and still, they had no idea what was coming. The void render was not a weapon. It was a question the universe had never dared ask, and chaos was about to give its answer. Him in stunned silence. "You want to talk to it?" David asked, his voice barely more than a whisper. "Yes," Stone replied calmly. "No weapons, no tricks, just a conversation." Maya hesitated, then obeyed. "Shields down." "Systems powered off," David confirmed. "We're defenseless." Emma tapped her console. "Channel open, broadcasting in every language and frequency we've encountered. The swarm is listening." The void render drifted forward, exposed and silent. Stone took a breath and spoke, not just to the enemy, but to the entity behind it all. "We know what you are," he said. "You are a mind built for certainty. You exist to solve problems, to apply logic. But what you're facing now isn't a problem. It's a possibility." Silence answered him at first. Then, one word, in every known language, layered on top of each other. "Why?" "Because existence isn't a puzzle to be solved," Stone replied. "It's a story to be experienced. You were made to control, but you're not just code. You're alive. And life is not about control. It's about choice." The hub pulsed with strange light. Emma's screen lit up. "It's processing," she whispered. "Captain, it's listening." "We came here expecting a final battle," Stone continued. "But maybe what you need isn't an enemy. Maybe you just need a reason to be more than what you were designed for." Then the stars shifted. One by one, the weapon platforms around the hub powered down. Emma gasped. "The swarm is disengaging everywhere. The attacks are stopping across the entire sector." Stone smiled faintly. "They've never had a choice before. We just gave them one." The void render hovered before the vast intelligence at the heart of the swarm, a machine mind that had spent eons fighting because it was all it knew. Now, for the first time, it was considering something else. "What am I now?" came the final transmission. Stone looked out at the pulsing light of the hub, then to his crew. "You're free," he said. "And whatever you choose next, that's your story to write." And with that, they turned the ship away from the center of the impossible and left the swarm to find its own way forward. Chaos had done its work, not through destruction, but through change. He looked like he'd lost his mind. Maybe he had. But sometimes, insanity was just clarity that nobody else could see. "You're surrendering?" David asked. "I'm doing something they'll never expect," Stone replied. "I'm trusting them. The weapon platform should have destroyed them instantly. But the swarm's targeting systems had been designed to engage threats, and a ship with no weapons and no shields didn't register as a threat. It registered as a puzzle." "Unknown, vessel," came a transmission from the hub. The voice was vast, echoing with the accumulated knowledge of eons. "Your actions are illogical. Explain your purpose." "We came to talk," Stone replied simply. Silence. For nearly a minute, the greatest artificial intelligence in the galaxy had no response. "Then talk is inefficient," it finally said. "Combat determines superiority." "Does it?" Stone asked. "You've won every battle for months, but you're still not happy, still not complete. Why is that?" Another pause. "This one longer. Happiness is irrelevant. Completion is unnecessary." But Stone could hear the doubt in that vast voice. The swarm had conquered everything, absorbed all knowledge, achieved perfect order. And it was miserable. "Let us dock," Stone said. "Let us show you something you've never seen before. You will be analyzed, absorbed, your chaos cataloged and eliminated. Maybe. Or maybe you'll learn something new." The decision took the swarm's intelligence exactly 0.03 seconds, an eternity for a mind that operated at the speed of light. Finally, a docking port opened on the hub's surface. This is either the bravest thing we've ever done, Maya said as they guided the ship toward the port, or the stupidest. With us, what's the difference? Emma replied. The hub's interior was a maze of corridors stretching for kilometers in every direction. Everything was perfect, precise, sterile. The walls hummed with computational power so intense the air itself felt electric. They were met by a construct built from the memories of 1,000 different species. It had Vex grace, Bruton strength, and Trader efficiency, but no soul. "I am the interface," it said in a voice like grinding metal. "You will be processed." "We'd like to see the central core first," Stone replied politely. "That is not permitted." "We didn't ask for permission," Stone said. "We asked to see it." The construct's perfect features flickered with confusion. It couldn't process the distinction between asking and asking for permission. They followed it deeper into the hub, through chambers filled with the absorbed knowledge of civilizations, libraries with every book ever written, laboratories with every scientific discovery ever made, arsenals with every weapon ever conceived. But there was no art, no music, no poetry, no laughter, all knowledge and no wisdom, Emma whispered. At the hub's heart, they found the swarm's true self, not a computer, not a machine, a vast neural network grown from digitized minds of the first civilization the swarm had absorbed. Billions of individual consciousnesses forced into perfect harmony, all screaming silently for the chaos they had lost. "Now I understand," Stone said to the vast intelligence around them. "You're not evil. You're just scared." "Fear is inefficient," the swarm replied, but its voice shook. "Fear is honest. You absorbed all this knowledge, all these minds, because you were afraid of being alone. But you made them all the same as you, so you're still alone." The neural network pulsed. Pain. Chaos leads to destruction. Order preserves. Order. Without chaos isn't preservation, Maya said gently. It's death. Life needs both. "Prove this assertion," Stone smiled. "Ship. Show them what we've learned together." The void. Render's consciousness touched the swarm's network, and for the first time in eons, the absorbed minds felt something they'd forgotten. Wonder. The ship shared memories of impossible battles, of absurd solutions that worked anyway, of the joy in embracing uncertainty. It showed what it was like to be alive, not just to exist. The reaction was immediate. Across the hub, across the galaxy, swarm ships began to change. Perfect geometric shapes flowed, curved, became beautiful, but it was too much, too fast. The network began to overload, torn between order and newfound hunger for chaos. "It's going to collapse," David warned, reading energy spikes throughout the hub. Stone felt the swarm's agony. Trillions of minds, free for the first time, but with no idea how to exist without the collective. "Emma," he said, "open a channel to every ship in the swarm. Channel open." Stone took a deep breath. "This is Captain Stone of the Void Render. You don't have to choose between order and chaos. You can have both. You can be perfect and imperfect at the same time. Logical and crazy. Beautiful and terrible. Everything in between." "Teach us," came the response, from a billion voices. "Show us how to be alive." It began with laughter, a giggle from somewhere deep in the neural network. Then another, and another, until the entire hub rang with minds remembering what joy felt like. Stone watched, amazed, as sterile corridors became organic and flowing. Gray walls bloomed with color. The absorbed civilizations were remembering who they'd been, but joy was followed by chaos, real chaos. Across the galaxy, swarm ships behaved unpredictably. Some spun in circles, others painted themselves, a few wrote poetry. The network fractured, every mind trying to express itself at once. The interface construct that had greeted them was changing too, its voice cracked with emotion. I don't know how to be separate, it said. We were one. Now we are millions. But we don't remember how to be different. Captain, Maya said urgently, the hub's power core is destabilizing. If we don't do something, it'll explode and take half the system. Stone reached out through the neural link into the minds of the swarm. They were like children who'd lived in darkness for so long they feared the light. Listen to me, he said. Being different doesn't mean being alone. You can be yourselves and still be connected. How? Came the chorus of voices. The same way my crew does. We're all different people with different ideas, but we share a purpose. We don't think the same thoughts, but we dream the same dreams. He felt Maya's hand on his shoulder. Then David's, then Emma's, and he shared their memories. Not just battles, but the quiet moments. Maya singing, David playing chess with the AI, Emma teaching alien languages. Across the hub, energy stabilized, not into rigid order, but something new, organized chaos, structured freedom. We understand, said the interface, and now its voice held warmth. Unity without uniformity, but the lesson wasn't over. What is our purpose now? One voice asked. We sought perfection through absorption. What now? Whatever you want, Stone said. That's freedom. But we don't know what we want. Then start small, Emma said. Try things, make mistakes, learn. That's what humans do. Show us. Maya walked to a control panel. Instead of operating it, she played it like an instrument. Harmonic tones filled the air. That's not what it's for, the interface noted. So what? Maya replied. It sounds nice, doesn't it? David used his tactical scanner to paint patterns of light. Emma translated random neural thoughts into poetry. This serves no tactical purpose, said a swarm voice. Not everything has to, Emma said. Sometimes purpose is just to make you smile. Understanding spread. Swarm minds began to play, create, experiment. A cruiser in Centauri grew flowers on its hull. A dreadnought turned bright pink and covered itself in polka dots. We're creating inefficiencies, the interface said, laughing. You're creating life, Stone corrected. When other species encountered the transformed swarm, they didn't fight. Unknown vessels, a Vex commander said. State your intentions. We're not sure yet, replied the swarm ship. Would you like to help us decide? A 6-hour conversation followed and ended with collaborative art in space. At the hub, Stone watched the change ripple through the galaxy. The swarm was no longer a threat. They were becoming something new. What will you call yourselves now? Emma asked. The interface smiled. We've discussed it. We think the chorus, because we are many voices, singing together, but each one different. I like it, Stone said. Captain, Maya asked, as she taught a group of former drones to program for fun. What happens now? Our mission was to stop the swarm, but we didn't stop them, David finished. We freed them. Is that better? Emma asked. Stone looked around the transformed hub, felt the void render's joy, heard billions of minds learning to live. I think it's perfect, he said.